Hey there, history nerds and curious minds, let's be real. History is more than just dusty textbooks and dates to memorize. It's full of chaos, revolutions, epic comebacks, and occasionally toilet paper shortages. Today we're counting down the top 10 historical events that changed the world, and yes, we're making it fun, fast, and a little sarcastic. From inventions that revolutionized information sharing, looking at you, Gutenberg, to pandemics that forced us to redefine normal, we're diving headfirst into the moments that shaped the world we know today. Let's rewind time, but with style. Imagine a world without Twitter, TikTok, or even your friendly neighborhood bookstore. That's what life was like before Johannes Gutenberg, our printing press hero, stepped onto the scene. Back then, books were like luxury cars, handwritten, expensive, and mostly owned by monks. But Gutenberg, he was all about mass production. He invented a system with movable type that could crank out books faster than you can say Renaissance. And bam! Information exploded. Suddenly knowledge wasn't just for the elite few, it was spreading faster than a medieval rumor. Education boomed, new ideas went viral, and the Renaissance really kicked into high gear. Of course, it wasn't all sunshine and sonnets. The printing press also gave birth to some pretty wild conspiracy theories. But hey, you can't blame Gutenberg for everything. He just gave humanity the tools. What they did with them is, well, history. 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue, looking for a faster route to India. Instead, he stumbled upon a whole new continent, already teeming with people, cultures, and civilizations that had been thriving for millennia. Oops! The discovery part of this story is highly debatable, but the impact? Yeah, that's undeniable. Columbus's voyages kicked off a global domino effect. We're talking colonization on a massive scale, trade routes connecting continents, and, sadly, conflict and disease that decimated indigenous populations. It's a complicated, often tragic chapter in human history. But the encounter between the eastern and western hemispheres irrevocably changed the world map, literally and figuratively. It led to the exchange of ideas, goods, and unfortunately, some really bad habits. The discovery of the Americas is a stark reminder that progress and destruction often walk hand in hand. Okay, buckle up because things are about to get steam-powered. The Industrial Revolution wasn't just one event. It was a period of rapid technological advancement that transformed the way we live, work, and pollute. Picture this. Out with the handcrafted, in with the mass-produced. Machines took over tasks once done by, well, human hands. Factories popped up like mushrooms after the rain, and cities swelled with people seeking work. Was it glamorous? Not really. Did it change everything? Absolutely. The Industrial Revolution was like that friend who shows up to a party with a karaoke machine. Loud, disruptive, but ultimately responsible for some pretty significant changes. It ushered in the era of modern capitalism, global trade, and of course the 9-to-5 grind, though let's be real, it was more like a 5-to-9 grind back then. The Industrial Revolution also brought about incredible innovations, the steam engine, the cotton gin, and the telegraph, to name a few. However, it also came with a hefty price tag, pollution, child labor, and a widening gap between the haves and the have-nots. The Industrial Revolution is a reminder that progress is a double-edged sword, and it's up to us to learn from its triumphs and its mistakes. Chapter 4, the French Revolution. Let them eat. Cake? Oh wait, never mind. France, land of baguettes, romance, and violent revolutions. Yeah, turns out even the most romantic countries have a rebellious streak. By the late 18th century, France was a pressure cooker ready to blow. The monarchy was living it up at Versailles, while the commoners were struggling to afford, well, bread. And no, they were not happy about it. Enter the French Revolution, a chaotic whirlwind of storming prisons, overthrowing monarchs, and unfortunately, a fair bit of bloodshed. Remember that whole let them eat cake thing? Yeah, Marie Antoinette probably never actually said it, but it perfectly sums up the disconnect between the rulers and the ruled. The French Revolution was a messy, violent, but ultimately transformative period. It gave us the iconic slogan, Liberté, Égalité, Fraternité. That's liberty, equality, fraternity for you non-French speakers. It also inspired revolutions around the world and laid the groundwork for modern democracy. Of course, it wasn't all sunshine and roses. The revolution also gave us the Reign of Terror, a period of extreme violence and paranoia. Chapter 5, World War I, the war to end all wars. Spoiler, it didn't, 1914 to 1918. Buckle up, history fans, because the 20th century is about to get real. World War I, a global conflict sparked by, wait for it, the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. Yep, one assassination plunged the world into 4 years of unprecedented bloodshed. This wasn't your grandpappy's war either. World War I introduced terrifying new technologies, machine guns, tanks, poison gas. It was trench warfare at its grimmest. a brutal stalemate that claimed millions of lives. The world had never seen anything like it. The sheer scale of the conflict was staggering, with empires clashing on a global battlefield. The war's end brought about the Treaty of Versailles, which, spoiler alert, didn't exactly solve everything. In fact, some argue that it laid the groundwork for an even bigger conflict just a few decades later. But for now, let's just acknowledge the devastating impact of World War I, a conflict that forever scarred the world and set the stage for a century marked by turmoil and change. Chapter 6, World War II, Round 2, and it's even more intense, 1939 to 1945. Well, folks, we're back for Round 2, and this time it's personal. World War II, the deadliest conflict in human history, makes the First World War look like a playground scuffle. The rise of Nazi Germany, led by the infamous Adolf Hitler, plunged the world into darkness. Fueled by nationalism, hatred, and a thirst for power, Hitler's regime unleashed horrors the world had never seen. The Allied forces, led by the United States, Great Britain, and the Soviet Union, joined forces to combat this global threat. From the beaches of Normandy to the streets of Stalingrad, battles raged across continents, leaving a trail of devastation in their wake. World War II was a clash of ideologies, a fight for the very soul of humanity. The Holocaust, the systematic genocide of 6 million Jews by the Nazi regime, stands as a chilling reminder of the depths of human depravity. The war's end brought about the dawn of the atomic age, a sobering reminder of the destructive power humanity now possessed. All right. Let's take a break from the doom and gloom and talk about something truly awe-inspiring. The moon landing. In the midst of the Cold War, the space race captivated the world's imagination. It was a competition between superpowers, a battle for supremacy, not just on Earth, but in the cosmos itself. And on July 20th, 1969, the world held its breath as Neil Armstrong took one small step onto the lunar surface, uttering the now iconic words, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." It was a moment that transcended politics and borders, a triumph of human ingenuity and exploration. The world watched in awe as Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin planted the American flag on the moon, a symbol of human achievement. It ignited a passion for space exploration that continues to this day. It inspired generations of scientists, engineers, and dreamers to reach for the stars, to explore the vast unknown that lies beyond our planet. Chapter 8, Walls Crumble, A World Rejoices, The Fall of the Berlin Wall, 1989. For nearly 3 decades, the Berlin Wall stood as a stark symbol of division, a concrete barrier separating East and West Berlin, communist and capitalist ideologies. It was a tangible manifestation of the Cold War, a constant reminder of the ideological divide that gripped the world. But in 1989, something extraordinary happened. The winds of change were blowing across Eastern Europe, fueled by a desire for freedom and democracy. Protests erupted in East Germany, demanding an end to communist rule and the reunification of their divided nation. And then on that fateful night of November 9th, the unthinkable occurred. The Berlin Wall fell. East and West Berliners, once separated by concrete and barbed wire, embraced in a euphoric celebration of unity and freedom. The fall of the Berlin Wall wasn't just about the reunification of Germany, it was a watershed moment in the Cold War, a symbolic victory for democracy over communism. It marked the beginning of the end for the Soviet Union and its grip on Eastern Europe. Chapter 9. The Internet. From dial-up to cat memes, 1990s. Okay, let's be real, this one probably hits close to home. Remember that clunky desktop computer your family had in the 90s? The one with the dial-up modem that made those weird screeching noises. Yeah, that was your portal to the early internet, a digital frontier that was about to change everything. What started as a way for scientists and researchers to share information morphed into, well, this. The internet exploded into a global phenomenon, connecting people, ideas, and of course cat memes like never before. It revolutionized the way we communicate, consume information, and even shop for groceries. It gave rise to social media, online dating, and the ability to binge-watch entire seasons of your favorite shows in one sitting. But the internet's impact goes far beyond entertainment and convenience. It's become an essential tool for education, activism, and even revolution. Of course, the internet isn't without its downsides. It's also a breeding ground for misinformation, cyberbullying, and those weird rabbit holes you can fall down at 2 a.m. Chapter 10. The COVID-19 pandemic, the world catches a virus, 2020, and here we are, folks, the one you've all been waiting for, or maybe the one you'd rather forget. The year 2020, it started like any other, but then a novel coronavirus swept across the globe, turning our world upside down. Suddenly, social distancing and quarantine became part of our everyday vocabulary. We learned to wear masks, wash our hands religiously, and navigate the awkward world of Zoom meetings. The COVID-19 pandemic was a stark reminder of our interconnectedness. A virus that emerged on one side of the world quickly became a global crisis. It exposed inequalities in healthcare systems, exacerbated social divisions, and forced us to confront our own mortality. But amidst the fear and uncertainty, we also witnessed incredible acts of resilience, compassion, and innovation. The pandemic forced us to adapt, to find new ways to connect, work, and learn. So what have we learned? History is unpredictable, powerful, and occasionally hilarious in hindsight. From printing presses to pandemics, the events we've explored have shaped the world we live in, for better or for worse. These 10 events are just a glimpse into the vast and complex tapestry of human history. They remind us that progress is rarely linear, that revolutions often come at a cost, and that even in the darkest of times, human resilience and ingenuity can shine through. If you enjoyed the ride, hit that like button, subscribe for more history with a twist, and drop a comment. Which historical moment would you visit if you had a time machine? Until next time, keep questioning the past and never underestimate the future.